This morning, it's Bernie Sanders, but will he still be the leader and delegates after Super Tuesday? Haley Victory Smith of USA Today joins us now to talk about what happened and what may happen leading up to all those states going to the polls. Good morning, Haley. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. So we know that obviously this is huge for Bernie. This is a big win for him.
Yeah.
When it comes to the moderate and liberal factions within the Democratic Party, who do you think that they're going to side more with?
Well, it's interesting, what I'm really interested to see is kind of who drops out when. Okay, so does anybody drop out before South Carolina? I'm not entirely sure, because I think at this point every single candidate can kind of make a case that they should stay in the race. So you have Joe Biden getting second place last night, even though it wasn't a particularly good second place. You have then Elizabeth Warren not doing extra terribly last night either. You have Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar doing well in those first two states. So I think we're kind of in interesting waters going into this next contest.
I think so too, and we know that Joe Biden says that he's pretty confident going into South Carolina. So he seems pretty hopeful there. Does he still have to win this coming Saturday, do you think, in South Carolina to keep his campaign going? I
think he does have to win, but I think he might keep going just because. Okay, so it would be good for him to win in South Carolina, but the thing is, if you stand until South Carolina, Super Tuesday is only a few days after that, and so do you decide, oh, we're just not going to go, or do you make that decision for the good of the party that you're going to get out so that Bernie Sanders doesn't win? I don't know that anybody's really ready to make that decision yet.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Well, we know he entered the debate stage, and on Super Tuesday, Michael Bloomberg will finally be on actual ballots. How do you see his role in this race playing out?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. We're not really going to see him until Super Tuesday really gets some success here. He did okay on the stage in Nevada, but he didn't do fantastic. That first half of the debate, even his surrogates were saying, that first half of the debate was really a warm-up. It's like, that's not really what your campaign going out to say. So what'll be interesting to see is whether or not he can sort of keep some of the momentum going that he's had in these national polls, and if when we get to these state-by-state contests, he will continue to do as well. I'm not entirely sure that he will, but man, I mean, the sort of money that their campaign is spending is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of money. So let's talk about the other side. If you're the White House, how would you kind of want this to play out?
I don't know that you necessarily want to pick your battles in this race. Okay, so we've seen a lot of Republicans who are hoping that Bernie Sanders is going to take this nomination because they think that President Trump has the best chance of beating Bernie Sanders out of anybody else in the field. Now, I'm not entirely sure that that's the case. In 2016, you had Hillary Clinton, sort of making Donald Trump to be, sort of the figurehead for the rest of the party. She wanted everybody else to look like Donald Trump, and so she sort of artificially propped him up. And then we all know how that ended. So, be careful what you wish for, I would say to Republicans. They might be right in the calculation that they're making, but it's better to be careful on that.
All right, so we'll just have to see how this all plays out. Haley Victory Smith, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. All right.